And so it's like in the four types, it's also like, okay, I can sprinkle this in because she's a little bit ready for this now. She's ready to hear that her parents are humans, right? And that there's things that are going on with them that don't include her. And so I agree with like noticing where your client is at and knowing which parts to sprinkle in when you can. And not all kids are going to read that quickly, you know, and we're finding out, I think I've noticed a lot that there's kids that have trouble reading and like there are some learning difficulties, and I think they're being shined a little bit more. I don't recall even hearing as much that kids were having trouble with certain things, right? And I think we're starting to pick up on it a little bit sooner. So,
What about you, Cece?
And what, like with the four types?
Yeah. All right. How are you being able to conceptualize it with your clients? Not necessarily specific clients, but just in general.
Yeah, I think like Ariana saying, like sprinkling bits and pieces, because I think it could be overwhelming just to say, here's this book. Or like you were saying, like going through it like chapter by chapter.
Mhm.
I think it would be really what's the word, like cathartic in sessions
Mhm.
to like dive into it. And I primarily do see kids, but I do have a couple like older teens that would be good, and then an adult one that I think could really benefit from it once we get later in, because we're still building that rapport. But even some of my parents, I think, could really benefit from it, um, just because how they were brought up, and then how maybe they're parenting now. Like they could see,
Yep.
like, oh,
That is
yeah,
one that you just have to be
careful.
careful on. Like anytime I present it, I'm like, okay, I know the title says emotionally immature parents. Like, work with it. We're not saying that you are. We're saying how do you interact and where did that come from? Right? And where did that come from? Right? So this is often they're all learned behaviors. And you all have heard me say numerous times that we have a society that doesn't know how to self-regulate. And that's why we have all this discord everywhere, right? Well, that's emotionally immature. So yeah, it's learned or not learned. Actually, it's not learned, right? The ability to self-regulate has not been taught. Um, and so it just gets passed on. So yes, hands down, being able to present it in a way of this might help you. Yes, this is the title, but this just helps you, like when you're interacting with people, to understand where some of these behaviors might be coming from. Right. So yes, it's a difficult thing because some people are ready to hear and hold themselves accountable. And others are not. They're a part of that. If something is not right, there's someone to blame, and it can't be me. But if you're continually, I had this conversation this week, but if the common denominator you talk about this drama and you talk about this drama and you talk about this drama, and there's an overall underlying pattern of behavior here, then when does it become not somebody else's fault, and you take accountability for what you said or did that was maybe misperceived? Not that you are wrong, but that maybe you could change what you're doing so that it's perceived in the way that you would like it to be perceived, right? It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It's just, could I communicate who I am in a better way?
mhm. Louder for the people in the back, Dom Patrice.
Yeah. Like I
That needs
said,
to go on a t-shirt.
had that conversation this morning.
No, but I think
Um,
so many people get wrapped up in being wrong, right? And like being wrong feels dirty, and so I don't want to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm a
Nobody wants
horrible
to be
human
wrong,
being.
right? Nobody wants to be wrong. It's like, as somebody were like, well, but they lied. Okay, whoa, hold on. Lie to me by definition is like it was intentional, right? It's such a nasty word. So can we say that like maybe you misunderstood what they were meaning, or that they didn't tell you something that you felt like you should have known about? It's not necessarily a lie, it's a miscommunication. Can we roll down to the bottom and get the negative emotion that is floods most of us when we hear the word lie or wrong, or if somebody comes at you, you're wrong, let's go. Right? I mean, that's my natural tendency, like, what? And I feel like I'm a pretty self-aware person, but that's still that primal thing. I mean, I'm pretty good at tampering it down most days, but still you're like, oh, like, could we have done this better? Like, I think we miscommunicated. There was something, like we missed something. The vast majority of us are just trying to do good and live our lives. We're not trying to hurt anybody. So if we do, like, this is a great opportunity to have a conversation, but it's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's an
Yeah, or
opportunity for conversation.
like an experience I've had is just like even in this role, right? We're doing our best. Um, and people don't see the back end, but then for like it to be so personalized and it's like I'm in a helping role. So to tell me that I don't care about helping is kind of like, okay, why are we personalizing this experience, right? And why are we making this um like with harmful intent? Hmm. But yeah,
I've been
so
oh, sorry.
no, go.
I was gonna say I've been thinking like how this book pairs really well with Gottman's Four Horsemen, like the defensiveness, maybe not necessarily like, but really the defensiveness. Like, yeah, I don't know why it just like popped in my head.
Wrong. You're not wrong. There's definite parallels, hands down, right? Stonewalling, right? I mean, you could definitely see that with the passive parent or the driven parent. Yeah, 100%. Um, it's it's all defense mechanisms based on what we're internally feeling and how comfortable we are in experiencing that, right? And I think I think I've probably said this before. It's a common saying, but it really hit home for my son, my youngest, when he was in football, and his coach said, you have I want to teach you how to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's my job. And I think that's why I love kids who are involved in sports, especially particularly group sports, because it goes back to the anxious generation of social norming, right? Your group is going to norm you, and you're going to learn like, hey, I can't say that, and I can't do that. And so it tapers down that narcissistic tendency, just to throw that out there, right? That emotional immaturity, it tamps it down to say like, hey, no, there's other people in your matrix. Um, but I think that having that as kind of your forefront is a good life lesson. Learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable,
One
right?
thing too, um, being that I see a lot of couples, and I know this isn't for everyone, like if there's always an anomaly, okay? But recognizing that what is the lens that we are speaking from, right? Instead of immediately taking offense. So if you're married, the lens your partner is speaking from is not from one that is malicious or hateful,
It
right?
should,
So
right, it
it
shouldn't be.
shouldn't be. I said that I know there's a
Most
lot
of the time,
anomalies
right,
out there.
correct. And most of the time it's not. They chose you, right? You chose each other to partner with.
Yeah.
But you're to, yeah,
And same thing from like a parent to a child, child parent. Like in most cases, they don't hate you and want you to be torn down in most cases, right? So there is something else where like this is coming from, not from the lens of like I hate you and you're a terrible person,
right,
right?
right.
Majority of the time. And so that's something that I have been trying to share with my clients just so that they can have less of more of a perspective of like, okay, this isn't about me, right? In the sense of like it's and this isn't something where I have to attack back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I teach my clients a lot. Like they hear something and they're in a relationship and it causes that tightness in your chest, to just raise your hand, stop the conversation. Just, your partner will be like, what are you doing? This isn't fifth grade. All right. It'll catch their attention. And you can say, like, hey, hold on. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm feeling like, was that about me or was that about something else? There was a lot of emotion there. Was that me? Was that something else? And it will cause the other person to check themselves and go, oh, I apologize. This is okay. So this is higher level in a good, healthy relationship. This is how, these are skills that have to be taught, right? So I'm just telling you what it looks like at the end. Being able to say, like, that felt uncomfortable. Was that me? Or was that something, was that yours? Right? And then that opens up this dialogue for your partner to be able to, like, I'm so sorry. It was not about you. I had a rough day. There was, traffic. This is actually about the kids. I'm frustrated at the kids or a work, or I'm not feeling well, or hey, we get into the halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, right? It's one of those things. I didn't mean to put that on you. Let me say that again. Right? And then you can start again. But it's learning how to get to that point, and that's emotional maturity. In the beginning stages, we do the hungry, lots of people do the hungry, hungry hippo and go, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. And then we get defensive. I didn't say that. I didn't do that. Why are you yelling at me? Instead of being able to, hold on, I don't know what just happened there, but that didn't feel good. Right? Or your partner could say, yeah, I'm pissed at you. All right. That's okay too. It's not really the best way to go about it, but it's honest. They're like, okay, you're upset with me. Well, what happened? What did I do or what did I not do? Or right. And then it's a conversation of lots of times of like, well, I didn't mean to do that. Right. Because we're coming from a place of goodness. I chose my partner. They're not going to try to deliberately hurt me. And if they do, then that's not a good relationship, right? That's different. We have to pivot. But yes, to your point, Ariana, 100%, we have to be able to start looking at our partners and our friends and our relationships, all of them, as, hey, why would I do that? Why would I deliberately hurt you? That lens of beneficence. But it's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very hard.
They come in and lots of times, like, hey, whoever's listening to this, come into therapy when you're starting to have problems, not when it's full-fledged problems, because that makes it really hard in therapy to work through those things. Because lots of the times, I've said this before, when couples come in at that point, one of them has already decided they're done. And this is just a checkbox to say, well, I tried therapy.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's hard because they're both at a place where it's like, you remember, I remember you mentioning like like having 1,000 cuts on your body, and so like you're trying to do something with wounds that are burning, and it's so hard to like focus on anything other than the pain that's going on, and it's like, how do we do anything productive if the wounds are open and oozing?
Mm-hmm.
It's I think
Absolutely.
it should be like first really bad fight where y'all are like, whoa, okay, maybe we should go talk to somebody, right? Instead of the fifth
Absolutely.
or the
Right.
10th one.
So let's go for, maybe just a couple paper cuts on one hand rather than our entire body is covered in them. Yeah,
Yeah.
hands down. If you're seeing a pattern, right? I mean, this is the whole thing. Humans are the best detectors of patterns. So you start seeing a pattern, we're having the same conversation, like this keeps happening, like that's now, not 5 years into it, 7 years into it, and then expecting therapy to fix it. Like, I'm not saying it can't be done, because it can, but it means that those individuals have to let some serious guards down to be able to be all in with therapy and real and raw and take accountability for what they've done and what they haven't done and apologize and be able to move on. Right.
The moving on part.
Yeah. And hey,
Yeah.
I've been there. I mean, I almost left at one time. So it's not easy, but it's worth it for sure. Right. So
With my ex, I had told him like maybe in like the middle of a relationship that I wanted to go to therapy, just because like things were coming up, and he was like, no, 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 no. And then when I was done and was breaking up with him, he's like, let's go to therapy. So I was like, okay, let's go. And we
yeah.
went to one
Boy.
session, and that was it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. And admittedly, like, not to dog on men, it's just different. Our society doesn't, really make it safe for them to lean into their emotions. And some of that y'all have heard me talk about, some of that is yin and yang, and we don't want them to be as emotional as women. We don't. We need balance. We need them to pull us back, right? But it is harder for them, and it's not been modeled. We're just now getting into some generations where it's normal um, for men to seek out therapy. But yeah, I mean, it's
I
rough.
try to also, I've had couples who they're like, we're telling everyone, right? To like
Mhm.
start going to couples counseling, like it's great. And I told them, granted, we're not all made the same as therapists, but it's like I think some men hear counseling or therapy and it's like, oh, emotions. I'm not about to talk about that. I'm not like a sissy. I don't want to talk about emotions, right? But
Right.
so I'm like, it's really just communication skills class. Like you're coming to learn communication skills and we're gonna practice them. You might have to talk about a feeling while you're learning how to communicate, right? But maybe let's put it like communication skills forward instead of you feeling like you have to come in here and we're about to all trauma dump and like cry all the time and
Right. Yeah, they have a viewpoint of it's just a cry fest, and really not. It's just a conversation. And we're gonna talk about probably some hard things, but we're also gonna just learn how to better communicate. But that, that can turn a lot of men off too, because they're like, I know how to communicate. It can sound very juvenile, right?
mm,
And so I always laugh and say, look, there's a reason, even though we're an English speaking country, that we are in English from the time of five all the way through high school. And then again, you take more English than you do math when you're in college, right? You at least have to take Lit 1, Lit 2, if not more. So there's a reason why. Part of the communication point is we haven't learned the nuances as well, right? And that's the piece that we need to teach more of. We think it's all modeled, which a lot of it is. Hence, it goes back to the book of why we are the way we are, because it was modeled to us by our parents. So if you didn't have a great, healthy, open parents modeling good, healthy communication, then you didn't learn it. You just you didn't,
because there's not a class.
Because there's not a class on that. I mean, you take a speech class, but it's not the same, right? It's just, it's not the same. We take it for granted. So, all right, ladies. Well, so up next month is.
I'm glad
my mom died.
Thank you. I'm glad my mom died. I could see it in my head. By
Jeanette McCurdy.
Jenna McCurdy.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jennifer, and I was like, I know that's not right. So Jenna McCurdy's Glad My Mom Died. And its focus is on parental relationships. And
we have a pattern going here.
We do.
I wonder if she read this book.
Do what, Cece?
I wonder if she's read this book.
Who's read it?
Jeanette McCurdy.
The Emotionally Immature. I don't know. That would, yeah. I know she's done a lot of therapy.
Oh, okay.
But that would be maybe. Well, there's so many books out there, right, that conceptualize things. And it's not like I've read this stuff before in different ways, but I love the way she shims it down. You know, Lindsay Gibson just shims it down and makes it very, very presentable. And Jenna McCurdy does a really good job of that and talking about that mother-daughter dynamic and how important it is. Our girls are watching us all the time, and this really focuses on the eating disorder component of it, but it's much deeper than that, much deeper than that. So that's a piece of it, but it's really about the mother-daughter relationship and that dynamic. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, the most important role model is the same-sex parent. So, and I learned that hands-on with my own daughter, and I love my daughter to pieces, and I'm so glad that I only had one so that I could give her the attention that relationship needed. I don't know that I would have been a good girl mom. I don't know. Right? I don't like drama and all the things, and that is part of the package with teen girls, as it should be, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but yeah. So that will be November. Gosh, the months, I'm not even, I cannot believe. Do what?
They're going so fast.
They are. I really am just like shocked.
I'm over here trying to buy the book, right? I have it on Audible, but I like having real books in my hands. And Amazon has it, like you can buy it used for like $5 less. But I'm like, it says it's not going to get here till the 18th or the 21st. And I'm like, the end here, it's going to be over. The month's going to be over.
Well, remember, you do have Thanksgiving break, and it is a short read, and Cece's probably almost done with it.
She's almost
I'm halfway through it.
Yeah. So, when she's done, you could just grab hers.
That's what I was just about to say.
And also, I want to be like you, Cece. She's reading like 100 books right now.
Well, that's because
I started one last night and I'm almost finished with it.
Hey, I am a prolific reader. I love it, and I cannot wait until I'm done with grad school and I can start reading what I want to read. which, I mean, I actually love all the stuff that I'm reading in grad school, but there's so much more that I want to be reading and I don't have time to do that.
Mhm.
So, yes, I think that's awesome, Cece. But she passed the NCE, so she has time to read what she
Yes.
wants, which is so exciting.
Granted, I want to say something. Like, I know I say this, oh, I want to read more, but I have actually been I mean, I've been able to read these books, and I wouldn't have been able to do that as well if I was still in school. So it would have felt like more of a mountain
Sure.
to like.
Well, but we also know that this helps because you've got a timeline and you're going to be asked questions. So we have the accountability factor too, right? And that's always good. That's always good. So,
Mhm.
all right, until next month.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.